Hey crew. So, for the handful of people that watch my channel, I just wanted to talk today about, this is not like a pat on the back kind of thing, even though it's something that I'm very happy that I'm at the place in my life where I'm able to do this. Because I'm going to be honest with you, in my younger years, I was so just trying to survive my life and not feeling like I was thriving at all. And when you're in that place, you really hide yourself from other people, and you don't have kind of the strength to be present with other people or to hold space for other people, because you're so in the thick of it and in your head that really you're still so self-focused that you're not realizing that the people around you are not focused on you. Like, they are also probably self-focused. I mean, I'm not saying there's not other people who are, very others focused. There are, but I'd say those people aren't, gonna be judging whether you're surviving or whatnot. I digress. Something happened to me this weekend that really was a crossing of a threshold in my life to a degree, to the extent that I feel in myself that I've never been more grounded in my own values. And even though my thought life is so much more calm and really doesn't have a lot going on in my thought life, or maybe it does, and I'm just so used to it that it feels like there isn't. I tried to turn the fan off to have this video, but I can't hack that. It's still too hot here. But let me just cut to the chase. I'm sorry. I always have to set the scene and it takes forever. So, oh great. State Patrol. I mean, I wasn't holding the phone or anything. I don't know. So, my son had basketball practice, or he has a basketball camp that has taken place this week. And I wanted to go to it as much as I could, which was just every other one. And, just to support his interest and his efforts. And besides me, there was just one other lady who was coming to these sessions, and I noticed that she had a little boy with her the first time, and it looked like they were staying there while his older brother did the camp that my son was in also. And part of my path, I was raised in a very small town where my genetic roots and DNA are traced back, hundreds of years. And you would think, wow, what a cool opportunity to be part of, that continuity and that longevity. But I'm going to be honest with you, I have not appreciated it, probably until now. And even now, it's hard for me to appreciate, because the particular ancestors that connect me to this land aren't people that I have ever thought I had a lot in common with. I was kind of the black sheep, the weird one, the brainy one, the cityfied one, the woo-woo one. I just wasn't, this good, grounded country girl that people really thought they had much in common with, and so just sort of wrote me off, or, you know, just, what is she about? I don't know. And, you know, when you feel that, you also feel, yeah, you're right, I don't identify with you guys, and so I'm probably gonna leave. And I did, but I came back. I got married, I had 5 kids, and, you know, that really rooted me into the community by doing so. Now my kids go to school there, and, you know, I've done a lot of inner work through my spiritual practices, which I would say, you know, New Age witchcraft is basically my key spiritual practice. I have been a devout Christian since the time I was 15, actually maybe even before, like 7, and you know, that just honestly led me to keep expanding my views. And while I don't feel like, you know, mainstream Christianity can hold me, I feel like New Age witchcraft can hold my Christianity, and then also anything else I might practice or believe. So that's why I say that's probably, you know, it's more encompassing than Christianity or Catholicism. So I'm gonna go with that. I am off on a tangent again. It's been 6 minutes in. That's a lot less than what I thought. So cheers to you if you are with me in this ramble. Okay, so I guess the point being, it's been a long process and a long journey to feel a part of my community, to not feel like a black sheep or a weirdo, and then to get hung up on that. You know, I think I spent so much of my younger years being hung up on the fact that, oh, they don't like me because I'm different, and vacillating between very short periods of trying to fit in with long periods of just hermiting and being like, I'm not going to participate if I can't be myself. And then what was even worse and more soulless is I think I spent most of my time the past 20 years or more, 30 years, 40 years, I don't know. Like, I spent most of my time going ahead, being a part of the community, but not really being myself fully. Just being the parts that people could tolerate, and really not giving a lot of thought to much else. I don't know. I don't know how to say, like, you know, I felt that heartache of, I show up for people, but they don't really know me. And I guess that was painful in that I didn't feel seen for who I really was. But it's no one's fault because I couldn't show up as who I really was, because I hadn't figured that out, because I was focused on the wrong thing. So, all that to say, all these years of thinking about this and thinking through this has led me to this point, which is so interesting because I'm able to clearly see how I can show up in my community. I finally realized that not everybody is tripping about, oh, you're not a perfect Christian, or, oh, maybe she's a little witchy, or, you know, she got good grades in school, she's not, you know, a bona fide hick like us, you know. It's like, what people really want from me and from anyone. And honestly, what I want to give, I'm finally at a stage in my life where I want to give it. Like, I have it within me to give. And I'm so happy, so proud, so grateful, so humbled at the same time as being proud, like, that I'm at that point, because it finally feels like I'm really living and not just searching. And long story short, I listened to this woman for an hour and a half, and she just kept talking to me, and I wondered, I bet not a lot of people listen to her. I bet not a lot of people witness her and just what her journey's been, what her struggle's been. In an hour and a half, this woman shared with me that when she was young, she lived in a neighborhood where people thought she was mean because they saw her having to fight with her brothers. She was one of four girls in a family, and I don't know, I think she said 6 brothers. And the neighbors would see her fighting. She lived in St. Louis, which is a big city in Missouri, and they would see her fighting with her brothers, and they would whisper to each other, "Oh, she's a bad girl, like, don't let your kids be around her." And yeah, she probably did have a hard life. She was one of the middle children, and she said that she was a there kid, meaning she was just there. She said that her mom was close to her older sister and her younger sister, but that she was just there. And she was able to tell me that. She wanted to tell me that. And I was just able to witness that. She told me that she had a significant other for 40 some years, and said that you don't have to be married to have a good relationship. She had, from what I can gather, 3 children. Her youngest son, who she said was the best, who I'm thinking probably got into the least amount of trouble, he died of cancer. She said that another son walked into a house also in St. Louis, Missouri, and was shot 3 times and died. I believe one of her children is still living, and she has a brother that helps her with the 3 children that she's raising. And of the 3 children she's raising, I finally was able to piece together that she is actually their great aunt. They are the grandchildren of her youngest sister. And what happened was their mother had a boyfriend who beat them so severely that the oldest one, who was there, he was wearing hearing aids. I have been in such a somber mood ever since yesterday. But I think it's important that we listen to each other, and that we bear each other's burdens, and that we allow the pain of the reality of those in our community to change us, to scar us. I looked at those boys that were there with her with such love as a mother and knowing how much I love my children, the thought that someone could beat a child like that. Children are annoying. They're just learning. They're going to talk when you want to be quiet. They're going to want to go to the park when you want to take a nap. Children are part of what makes us grow up, of what makes us create structure, of what makes us give, of what makes us sort out for ourselves and for them. This is how much that's healthy. These are my boundaries. Your boundaries are okay too. When we figure out where they are, let's respect them. That is our work as adults. And when we don't do that, and when we harm children, it's just a heartbreaking thing. Anyway, the middle child was there. He was at the basketball camp with my son, and I saw my son playing with him, and he picked him up, and I don't know, it just made me so happy to see them joyfully playing and experiencing their childhood together. My children have not had a perfect road by any means. They have also had their own trauma. And I'm happy to expound on that if anyone's interested. If anyone really even watches these videos or cares. But the thing that makes me most proud of my children is when I see them be kind to others. When they use the luxury of having a quasi-healthy and nurtured childhood to give some of that consideration and kindness to others. It is what I am most proud of when I see. And then the littlest of her boys, he had worn a gravedigger outfit, the monster truck, and when he saw that his aunt was talking to me and that I was listening, he came closer. He and the older brother too, the one with the hearing aids, they came closer. And I found out that the oldest one loves to read. That's his favorite thing to do, just like me. And when they need to know how to spell a word, he's the one that knows. That's just like me. There's a piece of us in everyone. And that is why it is so important to love everyone. We're all connected and we all need each other. Those boys' aunt needed someone to listen to her and to hold that space and to feel her pain and to carry it, to help her carry it. And throughout the story, when I felt it was appropriate, I said, I would affirm, that it's very special and very meaningful to be the person that stands in the gap, who is steady when everything else is chaos. She was very open about the fact that she was not a perfect person. But that she was willing to try to be a home for those 3 boys, to be a refuge from the chaos for those 3 boys. And she deserved my attention, and she deserved my listening to her. days as she talked to me, they took the basketballs and they threw them onto the bleachers. Which of course they shouldn't have done. But I understood that they wanted attention. And if it had been my own children, I would have, very seriously told them to stop because someone could get hurt. I was a little bit concerned that I might get hit by one of the basketballs. But even though they were doing that, it wasn't as though they were wanting anyone to be scared. It's that they wanted to be seen. They wanted to be seen. They wanted attention, and they had no idea an appropriate way to get that attention, but they wanted it so badly. So the coach corrected them, and I'm so happy that he did it in such a gentle but firm way. Like, don't do that. That's going to hurt the bleachers. And so I felt like I wouldn't have to say anything. So that when the little boy came over, I was able to tell him that I noticed last week that he had worn a grave digger outfit. I almost said gold digger. A grave digger outfit, and that my husband really liked grave digger and the monster trucks and stuff, and he looked happy. And it was an hour and a half of my day. And I got to didn't really get to meet the middle brother, but I got to meet 3 people in my community that needed to be seen. And I saw them. And it didn't matter who I was. They don't know who I am. It doesn't matter, I just want this to be an affirmation to anyone who doesn't feel like they're making a difference, doesn't know what they have to offer, doesn't feel a part of their community. There's a lot of people that don't feel a part of their community anymore. And maybe it's always been that way. But you could be the difference. Don't worry so much. Realize you are a part of your community, whether you feel like it or not. And go out and do all the good you can do. And if that means like volunteering at a soup kitchen, or like a pet shelter, or absolutely anything like that, all those things are amazing. But even if you just go out and there's an old man sitting on the park bench and you sit down next to him on the bench, and if he speaks to you, he speaks to you. If he catches your eye, smile. All these things are important work. It's such important work. Today I went to church with my son, my older son, because he has a girlfriend now. So we go to a church that's right down from where I lived. And as you know, I'm a witch and a Christian, but I'm like, if the preacher knew that, he'd lose it. But I don't care. Like, I can go and be with him. I can try to be encouraged. I can try to understand what people in my community believe. I just want to be a part of my community. And as I was leaving, I saw my next door neighbor, who I have not seen in the longest time. He didn't even know me. He had had a stroke. He's an older man. He almost died just recently. And as he talked to me, he cried. He's been through something so massive. And he remembered who I was when I told him whose daughter I was. And he's like, oh, do you still live next to me, or across the road? And I said yes, and I met his wife. Never had met his wife. And he said to me, or I was able, I'm sorry, they've changed the highway, and I'm like trying to make sure I'm not doing wrong. But I was able to tell him, hey, if you need help, call me. I have 2 big sons, so if you ever need someone, we'll help you. And just being able to be a neighbor, just being able to be in my community, like, it means so much to me now. I finally have something to give, because I'm finally got over myself. Anyway, it's so awesome. And if you're watching this, I love you. Thank you for being part of my online community. If you ever reach out and talk to me, I would love to listen to you, to witness your stories too, because I realize we're all a part of each other.